We're good.
What's up, YouTube? Welcome to the Awesemo.com Live Before Lock show. As always, I am Chris Spags, joined today by our baseball expert, our data savant, Jake Hari.
Hey, Chris. Good to be here. 4-game slate.
That was very organic and natural, Jake.
Yeah. Just like we just hopped on here.
Our banter is coming along at a fast clip.
Yeah.
Everybody in the chat, I'm sure, will be joining shortly. If you are in this stream, you should be checking out our Awesemo.com premium memberships. We are doing a lot with those, in particular with basketball. It's a pretty good deal right now. I think it's just $10. You get the rest of the season. And honestly, if you're playing playoff basketball, like a lot of people I assume watching this stream are, we really do offer a lot with the ownership projections and the rankings. And for a night like tonight, where there's only one game, you're definitely going to need that kind of information to help make some lineups and hopefully not lose money in the process. But we will talk MLB up front because that is Jake's specialty. And Jake has obviously done all his research. So, Jake, hit us. What are the top places you're going tonight?
All right, so pitching, I'm a DraftKings guy mostly. If people don't know that, I always try to mention that on the early show. So I'll just mention it here again, maybe a little bit of a different audience. So I usually play just on DraftKings. So that's the pricing I'm referring to, and when I talk about like tournament plays, sale is $13,000 on DraftKings. So like I think he's got the best chance to be the raw point scorer tonight for pitching. Like no issues playing him. Obviously in a cash game, he's who I would want in a tournament. I don't know. I think I'm going with Bundy, and I mostly play tournaments. So that's sort of my stand as far as where I'm going for starting pitchers. I really like Bundy. I really like Chris Archer. I think Bundy's got a chance to match Sale in raw points tonight. So for the $3,200 savings, that's sort of where I'm at for pitchers. For bats, I think everyone's kind of going to be on the same bats. So, namely the Red Sox, the Cubs, but the Cubs lineup isn't all that great. And then the Royals as well will all be popular, and I like those guys all a fair amount. So, yeah.
So, as a guy who doesn't love Vegas, were you happy last night that Kershaw crashed out?
I mean, I don't know. Like, it didn't really help me because my hitters were garbage. I ended up going with Trevor Bauer. So I thought I was going to play Kershaw all day, and then I was trying to make lineups and couldn't get anything I liked. I put in Bauer, and my lineup looked really good. I thought he had some decent upside, and Awesemo was on him. So if you checked back on the Spotlight Pitchers article, so I write the stuff early in the morning, get that out, and then Awesemo comes in and updates it and gives out his little nuggets for free. So, and then for premium, you can see the rankings and stuff where he's got everyone ranked, and he was high on Bauer. So, just kind of took the discount, and Bauer pitched really well, and Kershaw didn't. So, it worked out from that standpoint. I didn't profit off of it because my hitters were garbage, but yeah, it was.
Yeah, no, it
was weird.
Yeah, actually, I felt the same way with Kershaw, where I was like, I thought I had to play him because we had talked about it on the stream yesterday. I'd never seen a money line that high. I didn't even know they could get that high. But there was definitely a logic in going a different direction. And I actually had Bauer in one lineup too. I only won that cashed and actually did pretty well. So thank you, Awesemo, for giving us good tips. What's up, A1 Dance? I don't know why the chat's so quiet tonight. I guess we're competing with a lot of real life stuff. A lot of people going to Avengers. A lot of people watching the NFL draft. They might not want to play DFS on a night with 4 baseball games and 1 NBA game, I guess.
Yeah. I'm not saying I would do it, but if I were to take a night off, this would kind of be the night. Like, the MLB season it's a grind. So if you're planning on playing 7 days a week and multiple slates some days, like, this wouldn't be a bad one to take off, take a mental break from DFS. It's always good. Take a scheduled day off. But yeah, we're here. We're talking about it, so I'll definitely.
Hey, we're still grinding.
Yeah,
people out there might be slacking, but we are here every day thinking about. I've been thinking about the Celtics all day, way too much. quick question, actually, and I was going to ask you this too. I didn't want to cut you off. We were talking hitters. Junis.
Yeah.
Junis is a guy who has, I think, one of the better Vegas lines on the day. Pretty good K per 9. Why doesn't he pop out to you? Why didn't he pop to you at all?
Yeah, so I like Junis. I talked about him this morning. He's had a couple tough matchups. He's faced the Tigers twice. Kind of a neutral matchup for a righty. Faced the Angels and then the Mariners. The Angels and the Tigers are 6th and 7th in hard contact percentage against righties, and Junis has just kind of survived against like all those teams. All 4 starts, he's been okay. If I remember the game logs, now I'm getting nervous. But anyways, he's been fine. He's got a 9.7% swinging strike rate, which is a little lower than I'd like to see. If he was a little bit cheaper, I think I would have more interest in him, obviously. But just for 8,300, I can get up to Archer so easy that I just kind of don't need him.
No, that makes sense. I'm playing a guy I don't like a lot, Kyle Hendricks, because the salary worked out with some of the stacks that I had, which I liked. And it seems to me like he's kind of like a low ceiling, decent floor play. Do you find value in a guy like Kyle Hendricks who's not going to get you a lot of strikeouts, but it will be adequate?
I think he's fine for what he is. He's 6,900, and I kind of wish he was priced up more. Like him and Junis were in the same range, because then it would be an easier pivot. And then
right.
Archer wasn't so cheap. But I think Hendricks is probably going to be the chalk. He's a favorite under 7K. He seems pretty safe. But again, there's not as much strikeout upside with him as there is with a guy like Bundy or Archer. Obviously, you got to pay a little bit more, but I'm okay doing that.
Is there like a particular cheap guy? I'm thinking of one, and I'm wondering if maybe it'll pop in your head. Like a cheap guy tonight who seems like he's in a real good spot.
As far as hitters go?
Yeah.
Let me pull this up. Man. So Duda, he's 3,600. Yeah, I mean, that would be probably one of the cheaper guys that I like playing tonight. So LaStella's batting 5th for the Cubs. I don't like LaStella, but that makes a lot work. And he's probably going to be chalky just because people are going to play Sale. So you get a $2,200 player on DK that's batting 5th on a team with a 4.7 run total. That's probably going to be a pretty chalky player that people are going to want to play. But
yeah, okay. LaStella is one I was thinking of. The guy I was thinking of in particular is Almonte on Kansas City. I was hoping you were going to go to him. Because I like that stack a lot, and Almonte is pretty cheap and makes a lot of stuff work. I have one lineup right now. It's a Cubs Royals stack where I have LaStella and Goins, who I don't think is that good, but Goins actually has a pretty good contact rate versus the pitcher. So that's where I went with one. But Almonte, I felt like I landed on a couple times just because he makes a lot of things work.
Yeah. I mean, batting 2nd for 2,800, like, I don't think Giolito's anything special. And he's getting hit really hard by lefties. Almonte, a switch hitter, so he'll be batting from the left side until Giolito gets knocked out or is done pitching or whatever. That's perfectly fine with me as well. I just don't – if you're not paying up for Sale, I don't really think you need to go that deep for bats. So I'm going to try to stay away from – since my lineup is going to be no Sale. And this is for tournaments only. I just want to – now that we got a little bit more people watching. So Sale, great play. No problems with him. But I think I'm going with Bundy and Archer and just hoping one of them or both of them get near Sale in terms of raw points. So since I'm not playing Sale, I'm going to try to stay away from what I think are going to be the cheap, chalky guys like the LaStellas and the Almontes.
That's fair. So there was one question here. What are your thoughts on Estrada tonight? He's pitched very well against Boston before, from Jeremy.
Yeah, no Estrada for me. 5K price tag is... I can't even really make a case that much for Estrada outside of his price tag. Like, I don't see anything that's going to make me want to play him here. And you can get... Like, you don't need a 5K pitcher tonight. There aren't that many bats to pay up for. So...
Right.
Yeah, no Estrada for me.
Yeah, it's fair. And I mean, the Vegas line, too. Jake is not a Vegas line guy, or at least not solely looking at that as a thing. But that is a line where it's not the most appealing thing in the world to go to Estrada. So, there's a lot of options, though, on a 4-game slate. We'll go back to MLB in a little bit, touch on NBA real fast. I wrote up an article today, my Switch and Hedge I wrote, about how to try to win a showdown game. Tonight is a showdown. There's only one game, Boston-Milwaukee, Game 6 in Milwaukee. So there's an opportunity there because people don't really know how to play showdowns. There isn't a formula for it. There isn't the same kind of 5x, go with this guy, go with that guy. It's super tight pricing. It's very hard to fit Giannis and any sort of other guys. So we wrote something up. I asked actually Osmo and one of our guys, Tom, who works behind the scenes. I think is technically our COO. He's got a fancy title. Very smart guy. And there was some helpful information in there about how to use ownership projections to try to differentiate your lineups, how to try to get away from the pack, because there tends to be a lot of pack lineups where people will have 100 lineups bunched together because there's just hard to differentiate. So there's information there. It's worth a read, I think, just so you know what you're doing, because showdown shit's hard, very complicated. As for actual NBA picks, I think you need to have one of the 1K guys or 1K-ish guys in your lineup. It's very weird roster construction, but I think that's the only way to make it work. I think Semi Ojeleye is a good play. Got 30 minutes last time out. He's not going to score a ton of points, but he got 6 points, 7 boards last game. He's there defensively. He's doing a lot. He might get some defensive stats. If he gets you even just 10 points, that can kind of open up some salary room to get somewhere. For the showdown, who do you take besides Antetokounmpo for MVP? I'm not sure actually how the FanDuel one works, but I think Osimo said that Giannis should be your MVP, like across the board on FanDuel. So I don't know. I would take anybody else. I could see maybe taking Horford for that, but I think you have to take Giannis just for the safety and just to kind of get your lineup to the right spot. What else? On both sides, I guess. More value. I think Shabazz Muhammad is a guy. I wouldn't trust it. I'm not crazy about it, but he was insane last time out. And he looked really good in 10 minutes on the floor. He seemed to take Brogdon's minutes. If Malcolm Brogdon somehow doesn't get going again, I could see Muhammad getting more run and being valuable. I also don't mind Shane Larkin as a guy to kind of get some cheap salary in there. Larkin's been playing 15 minutes or so. And again, this is a different type of game where normally you want a guy who's getting more than 20 minutes, and it'd be great if we could get that, but you kind of got to take what you can get to make it work. For the rest of the lineups, I think, everybody, like the same guys you're going to expect are going to look good. I probably like Jabari Parker more than most. I think Osmo is a little bit down on Marcus Smart, but I like him tonight. I think Smart is almost a must play for me, but, that's all relative. Parker I like, Smart. I don't mind Horford. I think Bledsoe's in an okay spot. And Jaylen Brown, I want to like, but his usage got such a big dent last time. I'm a little afraid of that. Do I think it'll be necessary to play one of the 1K guys? I think it is Joseph, but I think also you could do, Marcus Morris might be a play. And that kind of gets you to that cheaper area. I think I have maybe one lineup where I didn't go with a 1K guy out of like 10 or so that I did. Let me see. Yeah, I think it's tough. I think it's tough to not get a 1K guy in there, especially if you're paying for Giannis. I just don't see how you make it work. And I don't believe in Brogdon either. So I think there aren't really cheap enough pivots in that range besides Morris to kind of make the whole thing work. It's really weird. It's a very weird situation to kind of make a lineup tonight. But yeah, I think that's where I'm going in NBA tonight. We'll touch a little more about it if anybody has questions in the chat. But back to baseball. Jake, would you go Crone and VR or Brad Miller and Moncada?
Yeah, that's tough for me because that's that's a batter against the two pitchers I like. So, man, I'd probably go Brad Miller just because lefty against Bundy. I think they at least have a chance. Like righties against Bundy have just had no chance so far this year. So I go Miller and Moncada, but I like using Moncada a lot better against righty pitching, and he's getting a lefty tonight. So it would be Miller and Moncada, but I'm not all that interested in really any of those four.
Wait, isn't Junis a righty?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. I'm thinking of tomorrow. I was looking at tomorrow's stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Because you said that before, and I was like, pretty sure Moncada's against the righty.
So I was so I'm doing the night shift. So I was thinking about that for tomorrow.
So much content at Osmo.com that sometimes our brains start
I'm already
bleeding.
on to the next day before even finish, like start this day. So yeah, scratch what I said. Brad Miller and Moncada for sure.
Okay, so yeah, I like Moncada a lot tonight. Like I landed on him. I mean, he's had some monster games lately, and his ISO is fantastic versus righties. His BABIP is fantastic. So I actually like Moncada a lot, and I think there's some good White Sox stacks you can go to. Some with Castillo maybe. Matt Davidson I think is okay too. I don't know. Like, what do you think about a White Sox stack now that you're thinking about the right pitcher?
Yes. So now that I've got the right sheet in front of me, the right starting pitchers for today. Everything else I think I was right on before, except for that. I was in Danny Duffy mode for tomorrow. So Moncada, he's just hitting the ball so hard against righties right now. So I have no issue playing him or Yolmer Sanchez, who I also think is a pretty good hitter, and he's third base eligible for 3,100. I do like that quite a bit. The stack itself, I'm not crazy about Castillo or Tim Anderson, but they are really cheap. And if you're playing Sale, I can't really argue against it. It's a 4-game slate that you can almost make a case for stacking anyone, just because there's so few options, and you need to get a different lineup somewhere, like somehow, especially if you're playing Sale. So, yeah, I mean, I get the White Sox stack, even if I don't necessarily love all the righties.
We do have a couple of the guys on the White Sox as being A values in Osmo's rankings. They're not projected for high points, but Luis Garcia and Daniel Palka are both A grades and value.
Okay, yeah.
Castillo gets an A too. So I mean, look, there's a lot you can go in there. I think it might be a little under-owned stack, and I really like Moncada. But yeah, Tim Anderson too. We have a B in points and an A. So like the White Sox stack is one where I feel like it might be lower owned than it should be. It's funny, you were such a White Sox guy 2 days ago, and now you're betraying them.
No. I'm still a lot of love for the White Sox. There will be plenty of times to use them, maybe even tomorrow. But I just think Junis is pretty good, and he's done okay in tough matchups, and I don't necessarily think this is a really tough matchup for him.
That's fair. All right. Would you go Machado or Mookie on FanDuel?
Ooh, Mookie. Yeah, Mookie.
The Red Sox are a great stack tonight too. So if you're going Mookie, how are you getting to Mookie though, or even a Red Sox stack with pitcher? Like, where are you going to go at pitcher to make the salary work?
On FanDuel?
I guess on either.
You could. I mean, it'd just be Sale that you'd probably have an issue getting Mookie in.
Right.
So I haven't looked at the FanDuel pricing much because I'm not playing there tonight. But there are definitely ways you could get in Mookie with Sale, I'm sure, even for 4,800.
What's your stance on Benintendi?
Yeah, I like him a lot. I like the Red Sox stack, like every single player, really, 1 through 7. So Benintendi's definitely up there for me. It's 3,800 on FanDuel. What is he on DK? 4,200. Yeah, I have no issues with really anyone in the Red Sox, and Benintendi's included in that.
Yeah, I agree. I actually like JD Martinez a fair amount too. It seemed like he's got a real good matchup. And obviously he's got the power where he can make a big difference tonight.
Yeah. JD, I don't know. I think Estrada gets rocked here, which is not a hot take. I think the Red Sox have the second highest total on the night. So, I mean, like, I like the chalk tonight. So that's why I don't love this slate. I don't see a ton of ways I can get different outside of not playing Sale, which I don't feel great about.
Yeah, I mean, that's another one. I mean, again, we saw yesterday, though, how, like, the pitcher with the highest total, or the best, rather, money line, can blow up. So, I mean, there is a pretty big case to look at just 1 day ago. So, I mean, there's an argument to be made to fade Sale. I still think Sale's, like, obviously a very good play, and worth finding a way to make it work. Yeah, I mean, and there's still, like, a pretty good stacks out there. Sale and Archer, would you say that's your top pitcher pairing for the day?
Sale. No, it'd be Bundy Archer actually. That's what I'm going with. So I guess I'd have to say that's my top pairing. I am playing lighter volume just because I don't like the slate. So I would suggest you guys don't put your entire bankroll on this slate if you can avoid it. So that's what I'm doing. I'm playing like half of what I usually play, if that. But yeah, Bundy Archer is what I'm going with.
Okay. Let's see. Anything else good in chat? Thoughts on Shaw versus Mouse? Oh, Moustakis, I guess.
Yeah, so I think in a tournament, I think Shaw makes for a really nice play, especially if we're thinking that Hendricks is going to be chalky. I don't think Giolito will be chalky as well, so if you're just going from a pure leverage play, I think Shaw makes a lot of sense there.
Okay. Any other good questions here?
Josh.
Yeah, Josh is trolling us in the chat. Classic Josh. You know, Josh, let other people have their shine, all right? It's not always about you on the Awesemo.com YouTube. It's about Jake and me now. We're doing a new buddy comedy thing. We don't need you. Boo, Josh.
Yeah.
I guess we could shit talk him on video here, and he can't really do anything about it.
I know, but then I have to face him tomorrow morning, so
that's true.
I have to stay neutral in this feud.
Hey, I'm defending us both. If he's gonna Z in our chat, we don't like trolls. We don't. We asked the other guy from this earlier this week. I don't take kindly to trolling and stupid people. What about VR as a one-off?
Yeah, I like him batting sixth. They got a pretty balanced lineup going. Righty, lefty, righty, lefty, righty switch for VR. Yeah, I like VR quite a bit as a cheap second base play on DK. I don't know what his price is on FanDuel.
Who would be your top outfield play on FanDuel, assuming somebody is playing Sale?
Oh, all right. Let me fire up the FanDuel pricing. Hold on. Top outfielder. I mean, if you can fit bets in, he'd probably be my top play. If you can't, if you want to go a little bit lower than Betts, JD Martinez is right up there. It's really like maybe my top three outfielders, if I had to rank them, would be Betts, JD, and Benintendi. So all the Red Sox. And then I do really like Christian Yelich again for 4,000 on FanDuel.
Cool. That works.
Josh says Benintendi, so.
There you go. But Josh, as we know, is not hosting the show today, so his opinions are completely invalid and wrong. So don't go Benintendi. Or do, whatever.
Go Benintendi and then blame Josh.
Yes, that's right. Whatever you do tonight that goes wrong, make sure to blame Josh for it and not us. We're just innocent boys here trying to make this work.
Yep.
While Josh sits at home with his hand in his pants like Al Bundy watching us, snarking in the comments. Do we still love the Cub stack? Yeah,
I mean, it's obviously a watered-down lineup, but like Schwarber batting second, Baez. Josh really likes Baez, and I sort of agree with him on Baez there. Rizzo, like 2, 3, 4, and then Almora leading off, I think is fine. Anderson is a reverse splits pitcher, so the righties I don't have an issue, and then like really good lefties like Rizzo and Schwarber who can hit for power. Definitely those top four for me for the Cubs.
Cool. Let's see. Any other good questions here? Oh, Hanley or Moreland? I like Moreland.
Moreland? Yeah, I guess you got to choose between one of them. So, I don't know who I would choose. Probably Moreland. He's cheaper, I guess.
He's got some good pop. I like Moreland.
Yeah, it's just like I'm not scared of targeting righties or lefties against Estrada, so it's really just whatever works with your pricing.
All right, that's fair.
With your salary left over, I should say. Josh told me he has some killer Toronto batting stack tonight. All right, here's the thing about Toronto bats tonight and Sale. So if you're not playing Sale, if you're fading him for whatever reason, if you just want to make like a fun lineup and go against the chalk, what I was saying this morning is you're gonna want you have to think of the scenarios. Why would Sale not have a great game? He's either gonna give up a bunch of runs, not get strikeouts. Well, if you need someone to hit a 2 or 3 run bomb against him, you're probably gonna want to have that guy. if Sale doesn't perform as well as he should here. So you're going to want like a Smoke or a Solarte or a Steve Pearce one-off. I think that's a good idea if you're not playing Sale. So I will say that about Toronto bats. I wouldn't stack them up because I think it's a bad play to stack against one of the best pitchers in baseball, but you can definitely make a case to play a bat against the chalk pitcher.
Okay. Yeah, I think that makes sense. And I mean, it's tough to like stack against a great pitcher like Sale, obviously, but there's always a game theory thing where if a lot of people are going to be playing that guy, you're going very counterintuitive. So I mean, even if it is like a less than likely opportunity, there is always a chance of that paying off for you, just because that's how this whole DFS thing works. Everybody expects something and it blows up in our faces, like poor Clayton Kershaw.
Yeah, baseball is a very variant game, as you saw with Kershaw last night. He had like 85 pitches through 4 innings, which he's usually got that through 6 or 7 innings, and he's cruising even against a bad Marlins lineup. And maybe it has more to do with Kershaw not being as great as he once was, but anything can happen. And on a 4-game slate where ownership's going to be really concentrated, it makes sense to maybe think about taking a hitter against Sale, maybe a hitter or two.
Yeah, that makes sense. Actually, Makad, yes, I am playing NBA Showdown. We'll go back to NBA in a little bit. I kind of gave, if you want to skip back a little, I gave my kind of overall slate view a few minutes ago. I don't even know how many minutes ago. Time just flies here. Like we're in a room, like a padded room somewhere. Do you like Salvador Perez tonight?
Yeah, just by default. I mean, who else are you going to play at catcher? So you got Ramos up there, but that's righty against Bundy. Wellington Castillo and Perez are probably going to be the chalk catchers on DK, at least, because they're both batting 4th for their respective teams and 2 teams that people are probably going to play hitters from. So I honestly don't really know where to go with catcher outside of one of those 2.
Do you like Tim? You already answered this, but Tim Anderson, would you say is he a strong play with Castillo, or I don't know? I mean, we like him. Osmo likes him. I think I said he has a B and an A. But what do you think, Jake?
Yeah, I mean, there's very limited options. So, Anderson's not my favorite, and I wouldn't play him just because he's batting 2nd. But if you're stacking up the White Sox and you want to get some of those righties in with guys like Moncada and Yolmer Sanchez, then yeah, by all means play Anderson. But for me, I'm playing a single lineup, so I don't think I'll end up on Anderson. But the price is there. He's batting 2nd, so yeah, that's no strong takes on Tim Anderson either way.
Yeah, where's your strong take? Who's hitting a home run today? Corey Seager did not, so we're 0 for 1 there.
I think Christian Yelich finally hits one. He's disappointed the last 2 nights, but
he does owe you at this point.
I think he owes me a double dong game here, but maybe he'll just get me one.
Yeah. Everybody loves getting double donged.
Yeah. So I don't know. I think Yelich would be the guy that, if I had to choose one guy, I think he goes yard today.
Okay.
I mean, outside of the Red Sox, I think Mookie Betts or JD Martinez or Benintendi all have better chances to hit one, but outside of them, we'll say Yelich.
And I'll ask you the same question I asked last time. Who's your favorite counterintuitive hitter play? So like a lefty, righty.
Ooh, good question. I like
this question because you answered it so well the first time, even though the answer wasn't great. You landed on it fast. It's fun. It's like I'm digging into your brain to just tap into these awesome thoughts that you have.
So you're saying a guy that doesn't have the platoon split?
Yeah, there's a guy who's got in theory a shitty matchup, but will outperform it or should outperform it.
Oh, just bad matchup. Yeah, Justin Smoke. I think he could hit one off Sale. So Smoke or Solarte, those are the 2 guys or one of 2 I'll probably have in my lineup tonight, since I'm not having Sale.
Interesting. Okay, I like that. So that's a pretty bold thing, even to say that you're fading Sale tonight and you're going to go with hitters against them. So that is pretty good. All right, Jake. And you called the Kike homer yesterday? I didn't know that.
Did I? Yeah, I did.
Apparently you did.
No, okay, so I had Dodgers in my lineup, but I was dead way too early that it didn't really matter. So let's see.
Oh, and the 23rd you did, I guess.
Oh, okay. I was going to say.
You're so good. You didn't even remember your own hot picks. It's tough. Let's see. Yelich, Braun, Shaw. Pick two of those guys.
Yelich, Braun, Shaw. Yelich and Shaw, the lefties. Yeah, that's pretty easy.
Ooh, guys. So John Henson's officially ruled out for a quick NBA thing. So that means it is safe to play Jabari Parker. That means you can consider getting burned again by Thon Maker, or you could play Tyler Zeller. So those guys are all options tonight. In the NBA, if you are playing one of the showdown games, which, again, very difficult. So that's helpful to know. I like Jabari a lot, by the way, with Henson out again. Jabari's been really good without him, and I think Jabari's going to have another good night tonight, especially back in Milwaukee. I'm excited to see what the Bucks do tonight because they should send us to a Game 7. Back to baseball. What about a Royal stack if you're trying to fit Sale and Betts?
Man, I don't even know how would you get to that. So if I was stacking the Royals, I definitely want Moustakas and Duda in there, and then probably Salvador Perez, just because catcher is so thin, and he's probably the best hitter, even though it's not a great matchup. But that's not really saying much for catcher tonight. There's not really any good matchups. So I definitely just want to get in Moustakas, Duda, and Salvador Perez, and then after that, maybe Soler. Hope he faces a lefty because he has been crushing lefties. Soler has. Against a righty, it's not as appealing, but he does have a lot of power.
Okay. Any other good questions? Oh, people talking basketball again. I don't like Thon Maker tonight, guys, just so you know. I think that he's too dependent on getting blocks. His big games in the series, he had 5 blocks. And I just don't think he's going to get that again tonight. I think he's one of those things, too. There's some logic in playing him because he burned, I think, 35% of people's lineups last time when he put up his shitty game. But so there is logic in going there. But I just don't think he's that great of a play. And I also don't think he works that well salary-wise. Like, I'd rather go down to one of the 1K guys. As I said before, big on the 1K guys. I think they'll add some value. And they also might get you 10x, which I think could be helpful as long as you're using that other money right. Drew, he hits threes, dude. Yeah, he hits threes when he gets threes. I mean, I think that he's not like a stellar shooter and he's not a high-usage player. He's getting maybe 4 shots a game. So I think if you think he's going to hit value with those 4 shots, sure. But to me, I'd rather go somewhere else. I'd rather go cheaper and try to open some money there. Hoops Central, we've talked a lot of Salvador Perez. I like Salvador Perez. Jake likes Salvador Perez. Salvador Perez likes Salvador Perez. I think we're all in on him tonight.
Yeah, he's a good play. There's not much else to say. There's not much at catcher, and he's one of the plays that is at least okay. What is your top NHL play? All right. So there are 2 games in NHL tonight. I'll just talk quick. So the second round is starting conference semifinals. We'll have the Penguins and Capitals starting in 25 minutes. So actually, I should probably check to make sure the lines are all good for that. But anyways, Penguins, Capitals, and then Sharks and Golden Knights. So my top stack of the night is probably the Ovechkin line. Even if you don't know hockey, you probably have heard of Ovechkin. So Ovechkin, Kuznetsov, Tom Wilson. I love them. I love Ovechkin as a one-off. And then you can stack them up with like a John Carlson, who's their highest-priced defenseman. Other stacks that I like Vegas' second line, Halla, Tuck, and James Neal. Not as interested in the top line, although I do like Marchessault for Vegas. And then on San Jose's side, I do really like Pavelski and Donskoy, and Evander Kane, I should say. So that top line for San Jose, I think, goes a little bit under-owned, even for a 2-game slate. And, yeah, so I like actually the game with the lower total for skaters, which is scary because Pittsburgh always screws me. So I'm hoping they don't do that again tonight. But, yeah, I do like Washington's top line, Vegas's second line, San Jose's top line.
There you go. And Jake knows his hockey. So if you're even thinking about playing hockey, or just you're sitting around bored right now, not for whatever reason, not caring about the NFL draft and trying to do something new, take Jake's plays. I think you'll be happy with him. He's really good at this. And we don't talk enough hockey because, frankly, we don't know hockey, and I don't know how many people play hockey.
Yeah, but it's definitely a niche sport. But if you just enjoy sports, just watch the games tonight. Like, watch some of these playoffs. It's awesome. And I didn't like hockey before 5 or 6 years ago. And now the Stanley Cup playoffs are crazy. So you won't be disappointed. Watch you'll want to play DFS.
I was at a bar for the Blue Jays, the Maple Leafs and Bruins game, and they were both Bruins fans and Maple Leafs fans there, and it was a pretty interesting scene. I just walked in there at 5 o'clock right after I got off the stream, and boy, they were going nuts over that game, especially when they scored the 3 goals at the end. That was crazy. So hockey is fun. Stanley Cup playoffs. I mean, hockey fans tend to be kind of douches about it, and they go oh, it's the best, but it is a very fun, exciting thing. It's weird you didn't get into hockey until later because I feel like a Minnesota kid. You must have just grown up around it.
Yeah, no, I was a basketball player, so I never played hockey, never got to watch it because the seasons overlapped and stuff. But then once I got into college, then I was all right, this is pretty cool, and started playing NHL DFS. I was oh, okay, I can make money on this too. So yeah, it was a pretty recent thing actually.
Oh, well, there you go. So, I mean, look, it's not too late for any of us to get into hockey. And Drew, look, you might be right about Maker. I don't think that, I don't think that that's the play that I would go. But sure, look, you got to take a chance in a 1-game slate. So, do what you want to do. Smart wasn't really on Middleton, actually. He played a little bit on Middleton. The one who really gave Middleton problems was Semi Ojeleye. Semi Ojeleye was all over him with his big, fucking, muscly, stupid body. And just was kind of choking him out, basically. So I think Middleton can get out of that. I think being back at home, Semi Ojeleye is not a stellar defender, but he does get in dudes' grills, and he makes it hard to get shots. So I don't love Middleton tonight because of that. But it's hard to say that's a single defender is going to completely ruin Chris Middleton because Middleton's going to put up 25 shots or so. So I don't think that's bad. Look at the reports on Marcus Morris. Smart's supposed to get what? That's not a sentence. I hope Smart gets more minutes. I think Smart could be effective, though, in 25 minutes, so I'm not particularly worried about that. This guy Hoops Central says Almonte is going to dong today. I hope so because I have a lot of Almonte. Very big on Almonte today. I mean, possibly because I like Danny Almonte when he was a fraud in the Little League World Series.
Yeah, I wouldn't be shocked if anything happens in terms of 4 baseball games. It's just not a great slate. And I'm trying to make a lineup right now and get set, and it's tough even if you're playing Archer and Bundy. So you might have to take a couple bats against Chris Sale if you fade him, which is already tough enough. So
victory goes to the brave, and that would be a brave play.
Yeah, that's a nice way to say dumb, but.
No, I don't think any play is ever dumb. Well, that's not true. That's actually very not true. I don't think any play that has good logic and numbers behind it is dumb, especially in baseball where we've learned really heavily from the guys behind the scenes who are working on this and creating formulas, doing all this stuff. It doesn't matter if you pick a bad stack or a good stack as long as you have a stack. And you go against a good pitcher, go against a bad pitcher. Obviously, you're going to try to target a bad pitcher more, but you can easily win a slate because you went against a good pitcher or somebody who's perceived to be a good pitcher, and then that guy just got rocked. There's a high variance sport. Guys get shelled a lot, especially guys who throw strikes. That ball's coming in fast. That ball's leaving fast. So I think there's always a logic to fading a guy. So I think, Jake, you might be being right about Sale, and you'll be laughing all the way to the bank, the money bank.
Yeah, except I'm not playing as much. So if Sale bombs and smoke double dongs or something, I'm going to be pretty upset with myself that I didn't play my usual amount, which isn't crazy amount. It's not what Osimo is doing, but which I don't think anybody's really playing that much besides him. But
no, he is a professional for a reason, and that requires professional resources.
Yes, yeah. So no, I mean it's just an ownership thing. if this was a 6-7 game slate, I wouldn't even like ever recommend targeting against Sale. 4-game slate, okay. The bats against him are all super cheap. Could he give up a couple runs here and only go 6 innings and only get 7 strikeouts? Like, yeah, I think that's pretty, like, it probably happens here 2 out of every 10 times, something like that. So it's just an ownership thing. I think he's going to be really chalky, and I'm just sort of fading the chalk.
Yeah, that makes sense. Jake has said that Archer is good. I didn't land on a lot of Archer, but I think like you said, Archer's a fine player, right?
Yeah, so the reason I like Archer is just because, well, for a couple reasons. So himself, he is a big strikeout guy, of course, can get really wild at times, but going up against a Baltimore team that is top 2 in swing percentage, swinging strike rate, and swing percentage, which is outside of the zone swinging percentage. So Baltimore ranks top 2 in all of those, which are stats that I look at just for teams to see how patient or impatient teams are. And Archer's a guy that struggles with walks, but maybe he's going to get some more swings out of the zone with this undisciplined Baltimore team.
Yeah, I mean, I would worry. The one thing that stood out to me, like I actually thought about trying to stack Baltimore. Oh, wait, are we offline?
What?
It says the stream is offline.
No, we should be good.
Huh. This is uploading the archive now. All right, well, fuck it. Hope we're not offline.
Stream resumed.
Whatever.
All right.
There we go. Okay, we're back. Hey, whatever happened? That was weird.
Were we gone for a second there?
I think it's just like it said we were offline.
It lagged. Okay. Cool.
I don't know. Anyway, yeah. Real quick, NFL stuff, just because it's the NFL draft day, and I'm dying for some NFL draft. I think Sam Darnold's going to go first. That'd be my pick. I like the reports of Baker Mayfield going first because I think that's one of the biggest jokes in the world that Baker Mayfield is suddenly a top 5 pick after being like basically a second rounder all year. So I think to me that's one thing that stands out as being really silly that he's going to go as possibly the Jets. But I think the first pick is going to be Darnold. Second pick will probably be I think Chubb. I think the rumors are that Chubb's going to go to the Giants. Then I think the Jets will take – if the Jets take Baker Mayfield, they deserve all the bad things to happen to them. If they're smart, they'll take Josh Rosen or Saquon Barkley. But I like Barkley a lot. I think Barkley is the best overall player to pick right now, even though I'm a USC guy. Love Sam Darnold. Barkley's going to be a player who I'm very excited to roster in DFS in 4 months. I cannot wait for football season. God, I also hope I learned things from Osmo about football because football's the hardest DFS sport, I think. You play at DFS NFL, right, Jake?
Yeah, I think baseball's the hardest.
Yeah, see, I feel like this has been. I mean, like, I'm not like trying to like suck my own dick, but like, I feel like it's been really easy, like, to figure shit out. Like, maybe because like Alex kind of gave the very like, oh, here's what it is when I came on board. Yeah. But I don't know. Like, I've found that like, it's just not that hard to figure out. I guess I don't know. I mean, maybe it's just experience and working here.
Right. If you're willing to put in the work and look at the stats and stuff over the long run, like, you should be popular, especially if you're trying to learn from guys like Osimo, who have a lot of success and sort of what they take into account and what they weigh the most. And you can do that just by looking at their lineups, each and every slate, just see who he was on and stuff. Then yeah, over the long run, it's a fun sport. It's a profitable sport. But night to night, like when you get crushed in baseball 5, 6, 7 nights in a row, it's tough. And so yeah, that's why I say take a day off or two every now and then and get yourself mentally right.
It sounds like somebody might have lost some money yesterday based on that little speech.
Oh yeah, I mean, you're probably gonna lose money most days, like especially being a single lineup person. You know what, 20-25% of the lineup's cash, so either you cash or you don't. And I'm gonna have a lot of nights where I don't, but hopefully you have enough big nights where you pay off over the long run and become profitable.
That's fair. People saying Baker Mayfield is going to be the best QB in the draft. Look, I'm not taking a bet on it. That's something too where we're going to pay that bet off in 5 years. If you fucking can find me in 5 years, good luck. But I think that I think Mayfield could be okay. I just think that I'd rather go Josh Allen. I'd obviously rather go Darnold. I think Josh Rosen is going to be nasty. I love the interview he had this week where he was like, people have been doubting me my whole life. I was like, Ricky Town is the #1 quarterback, and you know what? Like, where is he now? And I think that's like, I think that Rosen has like a chip on his shoulder where if he falls in the draft, he's going to be nasty. But I like Baker Mayfield. I've never seen it. I thought he was a douchebag in the Bulls. I didn't like any of that stuff. I'm just out on him. That's just me. Like I think if you're investing in a quarterback in the NFL now, you're locked in so much money, so much years. Your whole career is on the line. I would put my career in the hands of Barkley. I would put my career in the hands of Darnold. I would not put my career in the hands of Baker fucking Mayfield. That's how I feel about it.
He's entertaining. I mean, you can't, he's not.
No,
Manziel,
he is. But like,
Mayfield's the Manziel 2.0.
Yeah, I think that's a very spot on analogy. Like, I just think that, I don't know. Josh Allen, I don't necessarily see it as much. I would probably want my career on Josh Allen either. But like, at least he's like a big raw bone guy, and there's been like a success rate of guys like that. Like, I mean, you want to say Carson Wentz is the comp. That's a pretty valuable comp. Even Joe Flacco, similar comp. For coming from a small school, still having a big arm, still having the athletic ability. So I'm okay with Josh Allen too. I think when a guy's like an asshole, like, and he's just so like overtly kind of an asshole, like, it's not good to bring him into your locker room unless you have like a really good team around him and that can kind of get the best parts of that.
You're saying the Browns don't have a good team around them? Come on.
No, one
win in 2 seasons isn't enough for you?
I'm excited. Like, if the Browns did take Barkley #1, or they took like Barkley and then a quarterback later, that team's gonna be fun. Like, they should have Josh Gordon again. They have some players there. They're getting close. It's just they just have to not get fired before they're okay. PFF thinks Mayfield is far and away. Look, PFF can think that. I like Pro Football Focus. I use them for everything too during football season. But I don't see it with Mayfield personally, and I'm sure like they don't hit everything. So that is what it is. Any good baseball questions, guys, or basketball? Get them in now before lock. Jake's brain is here too. If you want to ask some NHL stuff, whatever you want to ask. If you want to ask about Jake's room, you have something hanging up in the background now.
I didn't realize that. That's fine.
You're making an adjustment. People critique, and you hear it.
Yeah, I just bought those shoes too for balling too. So.
Ooh, so you're getting back in the basketball game?
Oh, I always play pickup. I always play pickup. It's just good workout and stuff. So keep the heart healthy and yeah.
Yeah, no, I like that. I think basketball is actually my favorite workout too. I haven't found like there's no parks near here, and I don't know, like I have to find an indoor court or something because I haven't played in a while. I had one like right across the corner from me in Brooklyn before I moved out here in October. And that was like the best. I would go like every day and just like get some shots up, run some suicides. Really is like the best sport to just get out there and play. Boom, boom, boom. Would you Bundy and Archer both on DK?
Yeah. So the only downside to that really is that you limit yourself to the possibility of only one win. So, but how often are you going to get a win on DK anyways for your pitcher? You're just hoping for a low-scoring game, a bunch of strikeouts each way, and I think both of them can do it. They both have a ton of upside individually, and it's really good matchups for both of them as well. So, yeah, no problems going with Bundy and Archer. I'm doing it. Just about to click submit on my final edit to my lineup. So, yeah.
So who is your favorite stack of the day? We've talked about a bunch of stacks. Mine I think is Mine is either Kansas City or the White Sox. I'm not sure, but that's the one I have the most. One of those for sure. What about you, Jake? Who's your favorite stack for the day?
My favorite's probably Boston, and that's the chalk. But I can't fit as many Boston bats in as I want, so I'm mini stacking with my lineup. So 2 players here, 2 players there, that kind of thing. Just trying to play what I think are individually the best players and not necessarily trying to force in a full stack.
Oh, so you're not – okay, interesting. But, I mean, we do advocate for always stacking more than less. Like, I don't know.
Yeah,
I mean, there's – but I guess on a 4-game slate, you might want to try something different because, like there might be 2 guys in a couple games that will be more valuable, and the prices are a little wonky for some stacks.
Yeah, it's just a slate thing. Otherwise, I would try to be getting in at least 1 4-man stack in my lineup. It's like the same thing in hockey where you want like a 3-man stack at least for me. But it's just a weird slate, and I'm not super excited about it in general. So, sort of making an exception for what I usually do.
Jeremy Lannon is asking, is a full 5-man stack okay on DK? Yes, it is. Actually, yeah. That could be one of the most profitable stacks. It's also one that people play less for some reason. But a 5-man stack can have a lot of value, especially if they go off in the way that you're hoping, as a stack should. I mean, that's always the hope, is that they're going to go off.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, the point is that like every at bat creates another at bat. So every successful at bat rather creates another at bat. So like if you have more guys and they fit price wise and you like them all and the stats make sense, they have good ISO power, they have a good BABIP. I think that's literally it. And you'll be happy if you stack 5 guys. Just make sure they fit all that criteria, and you'll be good.
Yeah.
Let's see. Brock Holt. What are your thoughts on Brock Holt? Josh hates Brock Holt. That's what the chat said a couple times.
I mean, he's batting 9th, but 4-game slate. He's probably going to be really, really under-owned. Can't really say like don't play this guy to really anyone, but I wish he was cheaper. He's only 3,000, but I wish he was cheaper on DK. So I don't know. He makes sense if you want to do like that wraparound stack that people love doing so much, like 9 through 4. Not my favorite thing to do, and I don't think he's some great hitter. So I just think he's okay. He's going to be one of the lowest owned guys in the Red Sox lineup. So that's the appeal for Brock Holt.
He has a great name. I've always thought that about him.
Brock Holt.
Yeah, it's strong. It also kind of evokes Steve Holt from Arrested Development, which I don't mind.
Sure.
You don't watch Arrested Development, Jake? Very disappointed.
I don't.
Oh, shameful. Everybody watch Arrested Development. That's your homework for the night. Jake's too. The question, who is W. Castillo on White Sox? I believe that's Wellington Castillo. Is that an actual question?
That would be Wellington Castillo. And now, all right, I lied about my lineup. So I usually make my lineups way earlier, but now I've got a Red Sox full stack. So it's not conventional. You can't really get 1 through 5 in there, at least not with Bundy and Archer, but you can get 5 Boston hitters, which is appealing to me. I think they put up a bunch of runs here. So
would you go Brock Holt or Goins? Actually, I like Goins. I have Goins in like 2 lineups.
I'd probably go Holt there.
That's fair. I think Goins is not a great player, but he does have like a 358 BABIP versus whatever righties, I think. So I was like, sure, why not? No power at all. So, but for a nice Royal stack, felt like a good play to me. I don't know. Probably wrong.
Before people come at you about talking about BABIP, so some guys will probably naturally have higher BABIP, like fly ball hitters, but just in general, like I don't put really any weight into BABIP just because it's.
Oh. Jake, you're not allowed to do that. That's one of our signature stats.
Is it?
Yeah, that's one. You never got the Word document?
No, for pitchers, right?
Oh, no, yeah, no, I agree, yeah.
Yeah. So for pitchers, it matters for, like, regression reasons and stuff, but for, like, individual hitters, like fly ball hitters are probably going to have a higher BABIP because they're hitting the ball in the air more, it's not on the ground, you got a higher chance to find a hole or whatever. But just, like, for individual hitters, I'm not really paying attention to BABIP too much.
Okay, well, so that is one of the stats that, like, Alex says to look at first. Like, I think it's that. He says that ISO. He doesn't like WOBA. I think we've established that. I don't think he minds WRC plus. But like as like more of a general stat, not as a like this is going to correlate to fantasy points.
Right.
But yeah, like no BABIP. I think the one thing to keep in mind with that as a player like Goins, his BABIP's going to be a little higher. I think it's actually like, or at least from what I recall that Alex said, was that guys who are fast are going to have higher BABIPs.
Yeah.
So yeah. WRAA, no. It's literally, honestly, like just the most basic stats in the world, which has been helpful for me with building lineups and kind of learning this fast. I literally just look at ISO and BABIP, and that's been pretty helpful for the most part. As long as a guy is hitting over 200 with ISO, he has home run power. I forget where I saw that, but somebody said that to me at some point. And then, yeah, if they have a good BABIP, then I'm okay with them. I don't know.
That's interesting. Yeah. I wouldn't have thought of that, but
Yeah,
Definitely
I'm
something
literally
to look
like
into.
everything I learned from MLB was just from the Word document that Alex gave us in the beginning, and
Yep.
it was like it's actually been very helpful.
Yeah, that was like this
Asking,
little starter course for MLB, just like some of the general stuff he looks for.
yeah, yeah, and I mean, again, we mentioned this on this chat before on the live stream rather, but again, look at BABIP, look at ISO for hitters. For pitchers, you want the xFIP, you want to look at the K per nine, walks per nine. You can also consider home run per fly ball rate, but yeah, in general, that's sort of the main ones that I've been looking at, and it's been helpful just in terms of like. I think that's why I've enjoyed MLB is that I'm not looking at too much stuff. It's just pretty basic. I plug in my pitchers, I look at my hitting lineups, and I kind of have an idea where I want to go fast. Let's see, any good questions? Oh, what data sites do you guys use frequently? I just use FanGraphs. Jake, do you have any ones that you love?
Yeah, FanGraphs. I mean, that's like
that's the mecca.
Yeah. So start with FanGraphs. For like pitcher stuff, I look at Baseball Prospectus. For like exit velocity and stuff like that, and barrels, you go to Baseball Savant. So those are like the three main sites that I look at. I don't really like. There's a site called Razzball that you can kind of track stolen bases, just as like how pitchers are against guys on base. But
interesting.
Those are the main sites that I'm looking at.
Got to make a note of that Baseball Savant. Yeah, because I've been like curious about your exit velocity and all that stuff. Because that's something. I mean, like again, I don't even know that I need it, but like, because that's the thing too with basketball, which they've also tried to drill into my head. Because for me, like, I love the advanced stats of basketball. I think they're important. I think that defensive stuff is all important too. But Alex has said like the less stats, the better. And for basketball, like they only emphasize usage, only emphasize minutes. And the Vegas total, and that's basically it. And I think in general, we tend to overcomplicate these things statistically sometimes, and they can add a layer of help. But I think in general, the less stats you're working with that have a direct correlation to fantasy points, the better off you will probably be, because that's what Alex does, and Alex is a fucking millionaire. Would you go Devers or Davidson?
Devers or Devers.
I like Davidson. I thought he stuck out to me as an okay play. Again, but I also like the White Sox stack, so that's also going to affect it too. Do you use Swish Analytics?
Swish Analytics. I have for like umpire data, but
okay.
Yeah, I'm not crazy about Swish Analytics for anything else besides that.
Yeah, Donovan, we also don't advocate for BVP. BVP is actually like not a great stat to look at. It can be helpful, but in general, like you're going to want to look at just the hitter's overall performance versus a righty or a lefty, because that's a better indicator than assuming that a guy's caught another guy's number.
Yeah, the one, so it's not really BVP, but like if a guy profiles well against the hitter or against the pitcher, if a hitter does. And he's got like a really high average exit velocity against him, but he's just getting unlucky with the balls in play or whatever, then that's someone that like I won't use the BVP against him. If you're 1 for 12, but your average exit velocity is 98 miles an hour, then that probably means you're hitting the ball hard. You're just getting unlucky. So I don't like BVP, like just that, like just saying a guy is 2 for 6 with a home run against a guy is not like that doesn't mean anything to me.
Fernando says that I need to clean up my appearance when doing a live stream with Jake. Look, my shaggy hair thing, I've been meaning to cut it, but I just haven't. But you're right. I do feel like I'm getting outclassed by Jake here. He's also got better lighting. Just glowing, Jake in his room and his stuff hanging in the background.
Sun shining and yeah.
It's fair. No, it's a fair critique. I'm getting outclassed today. I fully admit that. But I did shower like just before coming on here, so my hair has actually gotten gradually worse as we've gone. Just not looking great. If a guy is batting on the front end of the order, does that make them more playable?
Yeah.
Yes, because they're more likely to get at bats.
Yeah. So you want as many at bats as you want in general. Like that's pretty obvious. You need more at bats for your stack to keep going, and it might be the difference. A guy batting 7th and a guy batting 2nd. That might be the difference between another at bat, which could mean more points. So yeah, you want guys that are batting near the top of the order if you can.
Yeah, I mean, if you can. I mean, it's not a necessity though. You can also stack a 2, 3, 4, 5. I mean, that doesn't matter. But like, if you don't like the one hit or don't feel like you have to get a one hit or a 1 or a 2 in because just because. But it is a good thing to look at, and it obviously means that their at bats are more secure. So think about it that way. Yeah. Anything good, you guys? You guys have 3 minutes left for lock in baseball, so get your stuff in. Is there any thoughts on the wind at Wrigley? I don't really look at that stuff, to be honest. And I probably should.
Let's see. No, the wind doesn't. It's not gonna affect that much. It doesn't look like I'm seeing like 5 miles an hour out to left, but that's not really substantial enough. Thank you, Jack Mahan.
Oh yeah, you won that guy some money, Jack Mahan.
Yeah. So hopefully, I don't know. I didn't really have a call like that tonight, but hopefully there will be some down the road where we can all profit greatly off of.
It'll probably be easier when there's more games, I think. It's tough with 4 games to have a really bold stack that nobody's thinking of.
Yep.
What contests and how many do you play when making one lineup? So I think the general rule that Osmo would advocate is playing within your bankroll, the maximum entries in a tournament that you can find. I'm an idiot, so I play just some lineups in bigger tournaments because I like the bigger tournaments. I tend to view it as like I'm trying to compete with a laser versus people just fucking spraying a minigun all over the place. But that also maybe not how a minigun works. But to me, like, I like that part of it. I would love to be able to max enter tournaments, but frankly, I don't have $1,500 a day to just burn on DFS, or if I go on a losing streak, to burn that for a few days.
Right.
And even the best players go on losing streaks, as Osmo told me yesterday on a video, which I didn't work and won't be uploaded. But yeah, so I think for me, like, I think it's sort of up to your bankroll, but the best strategy is going to be to max enter a tournament that you can afford. And do that.
Right. So if you're playing one lineup like I am, try to get into all the single entry stuff that you can afford first. So whether that's the $5, the $3, the $12 is a tournament that I always like to enter in. And there's usually DK fills that pretty early, and then they make more as the day goes on. So all the single entry stuff, the 3 max stuff, I put in with one lineup, and then I'm not saying you should or shouldn't do this necessarily, but I put it in the $33 fastball. I put it in, like, for hockey. I put it in like the big tournaments, like the tournaments where it's like 5 or 10 max. So just in case you have a really sick lineup, you don't want to miss out on the multiple thousands you could have had just because you didn't cough up the extra $5, the extra $10, stuff like that.
That's fair. Who's your lock outfielder for Grace on FanDuel?
For Grace, Yelich. Yeah, give me some Yelich. If you're not playing Hendricks,
you are a Yelich guy. You are firmly cementing yourself as a Yelich guy.
And he's one of those guys that's just like, his average exit velocity is so high lately, and I think he's getting unlucky. The last few days I've tracked him, and he's just flying out to the warning track, lining out, like, so he's hitting the ball really hard, and that's what I love to see.
Yep. A1 Dance CD. Actually, what happened with the Osmo interviewers, I did it. Alex was great. It was very interesting. Had a lot of great points, and I actually complimented our live stream and stuff. Made me feel really good. Then I exported the video. It turned out that my MacBook Mini just fucking couldn't do it, and it crapped out after 8 minutes. So, like, yeah, it's awful. It was like a really good video, and I was like, oh, good. And now I'm gonna have to do it like where Josh is gonna be like the middleman producing it, and just record it. But we'll do a premium video soon with Osmo. I want to do those regularly. Like, I want to get into his brain as much as I can, and I think he's got a lot of interesting thoughts in there that could be helpful to you guys. So yeah, I think we're pretty cool. We're gonna go watch some NFL draft. I have to go watch the Avengers later. Jake, what's your stance on the Avengers?
I've never watched it. So
God, you and fucking Josh both. How are you? You're white men in your 20s and 30s. How are you guys not watching the Avengers?
Honestly, I don't know. I just watch sports and sometimes binge an occasional TV show. Yeah, I'm not a big TV guy outside of sports. So,
well, I mean, it's a movie.
Yeah, that's true. Show us
Damn it,
show us your lineup. You can just find me My username is TommyNation1, and I missed all the good tournaments, so I went heavier on NHL on a 2-game slate today. So, like, you can find me in the $33 fastball on DK. If you just search for my username, it's TommyNation1. But yeah, and that's TOMMIE. So
yeah, I'm in the showdown tonight, and I am in the rally cap with my 4 entries. So if you want to find, I'm Chris Bags on everything. I don't have any. Why Tommy Nation?
So my school name for college was the Tommies. So I just I had like a shirt that said Tommy Nation on it, and I was like, whatever. I was playing DFS in college, and that was when I made my username, and it stuck. So,
fair enough. I'm glad I know the answer to that. Now everybody in the chat does too. Thank you guys for tuning in. Enjoy the Avengers. I'm so glad nobody jumped into the chat to spoil it. Thank you for not doing that, people or 4chan, anybody in general. I'll be back tomorrow with Josh doing our Friday stream. I assume we have basketball. I don't even know what the schedule is, but we'll find out together tomorrow. Jake, any last words?
No, good luck. Enjoy some baseball. Watch those playoff games for hockey and play some DFS. We only got a few more slates to worry about. So, and watch NBA too, of course. So
yes, the big Boston game. Make sure to play your Semi Ojeleyes and remember Shabazz Muhammad. If he goes off tonight, that I am saying, hey, Shabazz Muhammad might go off tonight. Makad, I am in the playoff push, the $100,000 one. And no, of course, I would not spoil anything for you guys, so never worry about that. I hate people who do that. It's an asshole move.
Yeah.
Anyway, thanks for tuning in, guys. Make sure to go to awesemo.com, buy your premium memberships. If you're making lineups right now, it'll really help you out for basketball, and it's $10, I think, to just get in there. You get it for the rest of the season. So go check it out. Go check out the ownership projections for the showdown. Figure out your lineup. It'll be really helpful. And we will see you guys again soon.
Good luck, guys.
Bye.